Hello and welcome to a year of Goddess Magic and our September practice. Thank you so much for being here. A quick reminder that all of the companion printables and resources are available at 30daysofgoddess.com. Also, a reminder that you can start where your feet are. If this is your first ever 30 Days of Goddess practice video, go ahead and watch it and just start right where you are instead of feeling pressured to go backwards. There is no need to rewind. There's no need to catch up. You can start right where you are. So this month we are stepping out of the cauldron month of August, and we are stepping into a month of nurturing wholeness, a month of nurturing trust, a month of nurturing our environments and ourselves. The goddess we are honoring this month is Demeter or Demeter, who is also Persephone's mother. Those who are familiar with my work know that I have a special affinity with Persephone and by extension, an affinity with Demeter. And I really do feel I have not spent a lot of time with Demeter on a personal level. Persephone I'm very invested with, but I do find that this month, as my older sons have both set forth to college, my very oldest has moved to a new school after finishing his associate's degree at a smaller, more local school. And then my second son has moved into an apartment. So they're both in apartments in different places, 3 hours apart. One's 1 hour from me and the other one's 3 hours from me, and then they're 3 hours from each other. And I'm feeling that maternal pang of letting go, So the nurturing and the letting go. So this is a good month to consider the balance between nurturing and letting go, and the balance between nurturing others and nurturing yourself as well. So if you're a member of the Goddess Magic community on Patreon, thank you for being here. If you're not a member, I welcome you to join. If you become a member, you will have access to the additional full set of printable resources and the Demeter Story Goddess Oracle card and little envelope to keep everything in, and lots of additional resources for you there. But you will have everything you need for a fulfilling practice without being a member. So membership is optional, though it is very much appreciated, and it gives you access to a fabulous community with tons of resources, including weekly live community practices, tons of printables, inspiration, insight, community, and connection. So, okay, let's get going with September. And before we get into the questions and other themes of the month, I want to read a poem to you from the Year of Goddess Magic book. And I intentionally brought this out to show you how really silly the Year of Goddess Magic book, my personal copy, is getting. And so I have a little excerpted piece from the digital file, which again, members of the Goddess Magic community on Patreon get that excerpted file that they can use, because quite frankly, that book is getting out of control. It is so full of magic that it is bursting at the seams. So I'd like to share a September poem from that book with you. September, you slide in like an exhale, a kiss across the forehead, a sigh of satisfaction. I see your first golden leaves skim the ground, and your sunlight touches my shoulder with replenishment and patience. I watch nighthawks migrate and sunset come earlier, and look for monarchs making their brave journey above roads and brambly fields. I feel you like a pause, like a softening of the shoulders and an easing of the heart. It is now that I recommit to the practices that sustain me. I remember that to stand on this earth, to feel this sun, to breathe this air, to feel this rhythm is the original blessing. I am here to bear witness each day, here to step out into this changing world and see what I can see, here to listen, here to feel, here to walk this sacred path with tenderness and trust, with wonder and delight, with purpose and with joy. I remember who breathes me. I walk on holy ground. And the remembering who breathes me is a part of a quote from somebody else about being breathed by the sacred, breathed by the holy, or the breath of the infinite moving through you. So that's where I remember who breathes me comes from. Okay, so, excuse me, I have something stuck in my mouth. Excuse me about that. If I was a better editor, I would take that part out, but I'm not, and I'm just going to go with it, because that is where we are in the Temple of the Ordinary, where sometimes we have something stuck in our mouth while we're trying to do a video. Okay, so Anyway, another poem I wanted to share about September, the September mood, so to speak. And so this is an interesting time. It's a time in September. It's a time of both. It's a time of harvesting. It's a time of releasing, but it's still time to kind of put your back into it. It's time to it's not time to rest yet, so to speak. It's time to actually, we're seeing the fruits of our labors, but we're also putting in the time. We're putting in the effort. We're digging in. We're putting in the effort. We're working kind of hard at this time of year, either to finish bringing something into being, either to harvest the fruits of our labors, the fruits of our efforts, or to, kind of build up the resource base as we enter into winter. And so here is a little September poem as well. Let us savor our work and celebrate our successes. Let us choose what to harvest and what to sacrifice. Let us taste first fruits and grains of promise. Let us steep and deepen, knowing the flavor of renewal and the fire of purpose. Let us step into the crucible of choice and change. Let us return to center, to the magic we make when we reclaim our attention and our wholeness as our own. When we reclaim our attention and our wholeness as our own. And so that is something to think about this month, is how are you nurturing your own wholeness? How are you nurturing your own magic? How are you nurturing your own connection? How are you nurturing your own thriving? And I know that life is busy and it all seems to swirl around you. And yet, how are you nurturing what you love right in the middle of everything that swirls? And so I'm pleased to report to you that my time in the cauldron was fruitful, and I finished my next book, Return, which will come out in print on the fall equinox, September 21st. So the book will be out then. There is a paperback pocket-size edition, and there's a hardcover keepsake edition. And I love both of them. They both have their attributes. They both have their purposes, and I just love them both. So super happy. That was my time in the cauldron was productive and powerful, and I really came back to the value of in carving out intentional time to truly listen, the reclaiming of the attention, the reclaiming of the wholeness, the reclaiming of my time. It really allowed me to clarify some things, and also to steep, and then also to create without being as distracted or as splintered in different directions. Very, very valuable. And I'm carrying the deep lessons of the cauldron with me into this month of nurturing. Okay, so some additional questions to consider about September. How can you unclench your life? So this is connected to last year's theme, which was about flow, and I did a series on stepping into the flow. And one of the questions there is, how can I unclench my life? Like, where have I been clenched up? How can I unclench my life? Where do I need to let things go or let things flow? Do you know how it feels to feel present, centered, aware, and connected? How do you know it, and where do you feel it? Do you feel, where's the body sensation that lets you know that you're in the flow, that you're centered, that you're present, that you're really here for your own life? What can you set free, surrender, or release? What can you simplify? What are you making harder than it has to be? Can you let some things be easy? This is a perpetual question for me. Can I let some things be easy? And it doesn't mean that you just slack off and, sit around all day and don't do anything. But are you making things harder or more complicated or more complex than they have to be? And how can you step back, lean back into some more ease? What are you searching for? What are you seeking? How can you soften in? What are you harvesting, and what have you created? How do you celebrate and savor your own good work? So something that I'm nurturing in myself, and I invite you to consider as well, is I'm nurturing satisfaction and delight in what I've already made. Satisfaction and delight in what I've already made. And let that continue to bloom. Let that continue to grow. Let that continue to be something that a source of of nurturance that I can draw upon. And so that includes the books that I've written in the past. That includes the books that I'm currently writing, my own oracle decks and things like that. But how am I letting the works of my own hands nurture and support me? And how are you letting the works of your hands nurture and support you? How do you celebrate and savor your own good work? Where do you need to rest, to replenish, to renew? If you're coming out of the cauldron like me, it was probably bubbling and hot in there and not necessarily as replenishing or restorative as maybe you longed for, but hopefully you allowed yourself a slice of what you crave, a little piece of what you long for. And how do you still need to nurture yourself, to tend to your own wholeness, to give yourself pauses to replenish, to give yourself pauses to come back home again and again? And so though that's another question to consider. And then I'd like to go ahead and read one of our snapshot cards, because this is the invitation at this time of year also. It is a time to gather, a time to evaluate and review. It is time to invite ourselves back home, to settle in, to collect our blessings, to harvest our offerings, and look together at what we've made. It is a time to dig deep, to throw our backs into it, to finish what we've started, to do what is needed, to see it through. It is a time to prepare and a time to care, a time to call back what has wandered, to focus and prioritize. There will be a time for rest, but now is when we stretch ourselves, reaching for what is ripest, what is satisfying and nourishing, what tests our resources and gives us strength. It is time to savor our creations, to lay in stores for the future, and to take satisfaction in a job well done and work well tended. A job well done and work well tended. Here we are, sort of ready or not, here we are. And so I also want to share a couple of little quotes from wait a second, where is that? I had a poem that I wanted to read. Yes, got it. Okay, so I have a poem that I want to read and some quotes that I want to share. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the quotes, and then I will share the poem, which is a Demeter poem. So as we kind of close up today, I'd like to share that poem with you. Oops, things are falling out of my big book over here. The big book of magic, which is so full of magic. It cannot be contained or restrained. Okay, some quotes to consider. And oh yes, so one that I wanted to re-highlight is something I shared several times last year, and it's also something that makes an appearance in my poems and in interviews and things like that. And it really is at the heart of my own work. And it's a quote from Thomas Berry, very short. Inscendence is the impulse not to rise above the world, which is transcendence, but to climb into it, to seek its core. And so I really invite you this month to climb into life, to seek its core, to nurture your own sense of wonder and delight in joy in right where you are. Practice inscendence, stepping right in to the heart of life and seeking the core. And then there was another quote that I wanted to share. This one's from Shimeli Gad from Awakening Women Institute. Before religion, before patriarchy and self-improvement, before there were complex maps and scriptures, fancy churches, and elaborate ideas of purity, there was the living goddess, revered and honored as the source of all things. We don't have to study archaeology nor cling to dreams of the good old days to find her original temples. They are everywhere. An oak tree, a fallen leaf, a crossroad, a hole in the ground, a spring, a pregnant belly, scent of skin, puppy earlobes, calloused hands and feet, mycelium, healing herbs, grateful hearts, the moon, the rain, and dust. Her spirituality is not a linear path towards a goal, nor is it a system of dusty dogmas you have to obey, compare yourself with, or even believe in. It is more like a love affair, a remembering of what you came here to live and give, a reclamation of an intimacy with she who breathes you. I didn't know I had the breathes you quote right here, so isn't that handy and magical? So a reclamation of an intimacy with she who breathes you, she who breathes you. So I feel like that is a wonderful affirmation or introduction into this month of Demeter, the mother, the nurturing one, the one who tends, the one who nourishes, the one who supports, and the one who has the courage to go seeking what she needs, the one who has the courage to go seeking what she needs. So here is the poem. This one is from Pamela Madsen. And Pamela Madsen, Meet the Mother. Before there was Persephone, there was Demeter. Before there was the harvest, there was the howl. Demeter wasn't just the goddess of grain. She was the woman who lost, the mother who searched, the fierce, grieving force who brought the world to its knees until her daughter was returned. We don't talk enough about her, the one who refused to move on, the one who paused the world until her soul was whole again. This is not passive grief, this is power. Demeter teaches us that sometimes love is rage and sometimes healing means not blooming until you're damn ready. She teaches us that pleasure isn't always a crescendo. Sometimes it's the quiet insistence that you will not be forgotten. To descend like Persephone is brave. To hold the world still until your joy returns, that is Demeter. She's not a side character, she is the root system. And when her daughter returns, she does not shame her for the dark, she welcomes her home. Demeter lives in every woman who's had to demand her own healing, protect her own softness, and plant again after loss. She is not just mother to a goddess, she is mother to us all. Meet the mother, she's in you too. Meet the mother, she's in you too. And I do, of course, wish to acknowledge that we can have many complex types of relationships with our own human mothers. Sometimes that can create a sense of resistance to working with a mother goddess or even perceiving a goddess as nurturing, because there can be scars from the mothering we did or did not receive in the past. And so I hope you will take this month's invitation to consider what feels nurturing to you, to consider how you might nurture yourself, and to consider the earth itself as a nurturing home, as a supportive place of homecoming and belonging, and as a loving mother to us all, as well as to engaging with the energy of the mother goddess, with Demeter, with the other mother goddesses with which many pantheons are ripe with many maternal goddess images, but to allow that image of the nurturing mother to heal something in you, to invite something in you, and to welcome you home, to the soft space of your own belonging that you carry within. And that reminds me, I have another little poem to share from our snapshot cards, and it is this. We all need a place of homecoming and belonging, a place that supports us and sustains us, nourishes and encourages us. We need a place for sacred experiencing and divine connection. As we lay a hand across our hearts and lay a hand across our bellies, may we discover we carry this space within us wherever we go and wherever we are. We really do carry our own sacred space within us. We always have it here with us. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one kind of short for this month, and reminding you to pop on over to 30daysofgoddess.com or to become a member of the Goddess Magic community at patreon.com/goddessmagic for weekly live community practices and daily nourishment, encouragement, and inspiration via the resources there. And so we're going to go ahead and close with our core snapshot prayer in this month of nurturing, this month of Demeter, this month of reclaiming and remembering and returning, and this month of fierce insistence of standing up for what we need and going after it, We know the kind of nourishment we need. We know what we love, what lights us up, what makes our hearts sing. We know where we want to go and who we want to become. We know how we want to spend our time and who we want to spend it with. We know we have many choices. We know we have many dreams. We know we must be intentional with our choosing and brave in our actions. May we have faith that we hold what we need within us. Thank you so much for being here. And may you settle and soften and sink and slip into the rhythms of this nurturing earth beneath your feet. May you create a life that is small enough and big enough to hold you and to nurture you. And may you make space for joy, for delight, for wonder, and for magic. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Keep living your magic. Bye-bye.